First thing we do with our meditation practice, since we're going to be trying to sit comfortably still, is really taking one more moment to adjust your posture. You can take this practice lying down if that's more comfortable for you, but upright and seated also works too. I like to measure it by can you breathe well? So can you take a good breath in and notice if you're able to do that? And I think it's a good starting point for your posture. It's also a good time to notice if there's anything that might cause you to fidget, need to move a little extra, make adjustments for that. The hands are the hands are something that you have to stabilize. So put those in your lap, lay them by your side, give them a home to rest for the time that we'll be together tonight. And then your eyes can be closed, or you can kind of have them slightly closed where you're not taking in a lot of visual information. So you can minimize the visual distractions. And that's kind of the starting place. This practice is a practice of paying attention and noticing. So that's important to understand because sometimes we will bring the attitude that we need to make something happen. And that isn't necessarily our goal, but it's really just kind of noticing what's going to naturally unfold on its own and what's actually going to occur. Tonight's practice is going to be focused around the idea of impermanence, which is a big fancy word for change. Everything changes all the time. Our brains like the security of knowing that things are consistent. And so typically when we hear the word change, that can have a threatening connotation sometimes. But the reality is, you're experiencing it on a moment to moment basis. And we're going to look at that as we move through practice today. And we're going to learn to see it at this very subtle level. And in this way, we can condition ourselves to be able to handle the bigger changes because we kind of know what it looks like on a day to day, on a moment to moment basis. The intention I have for class is for us to open to that reality of change with curiosity, courage, and kindness, and let things flow rather than to resist them. Notice how the idea of today's practice lands in your body, the way it might affect the breath or any tension that it might bring with this idea of noticing change. As you're sitting here and beginning to settle in, you can feel the energy of the day still kind of making its way through you. That might be in the form of your mind being really anxious and jumping around a lot, or thoughts coming and going really quickly. You can feel your breath naturally moving through you. And it's as if all of this is kind of happening at once. Right now, your attention is free and open to kind of just move while you watch it and you remain curious about where it goes and how it changes. Even in the short period of time that we've been sitting here, you've experienced a variety of change that's taken place. As your body starts to acclimate and your mind starts to acclimate to the slowing down, with it comes a certain quality, a certain energy that begins to form out of that. Letting our attention now begin to become a little more focused. And so I want you to begin to pay attention to your body a little closer, I should say. And what I'm wanting you to notice is any sensation in the body that captures your attention. And I simply want you to keep your attention on that sensation for as long as you can. Sensation being anything that you feel, temperature, texture, pressure, sometimes pain, discomfort, depending on what's alive in your body right now. We aren't trying to change it or alter it. We're just letting our attention stay there, focused on it. Now, inevitably, anytime we try to hold our attention and rein it in, it likes to wander away from us. The mind starts thinking about stuff you have to do or stuff you didn't do or how you're doing the practice or whatever the commentary is today. And when that happens and you notice it, your goal is simply to return back to focusing your attention on the body. Remembering that you don't have to do anything for your attention to shift and change. That's just going to naturally happen as a part of the process. It's the returning the focus back that is the work, that is the practice. It is the attitude of curiosity and kindness, even playfulness in some ways, to this dance of change. Now, I'd like to shift our attention now to bring the breath to the forefront, to start to feel your breath. So now we're letting our attention notice where the body is being moved by each breath coming in and coming out. You might notice here that the breath has a certain pace or a certain rhythm. That there's moments where we pause and hold and catch our breath and start again. Some are short and some are long, but no two are really the same. Notice where the mind may have gone if it wandered away. Feel back into the breath again and let the process start over. Because of the nature of impermanence, it's often said in this practice that we never really step in the same river twice. That each time you look at the breath moving, a new picture is being made. Your breath and your attention can work together to interact with the body. An example of this would be if you're noticing that you might be holding tension somewhere. Let your breath and your attention focus on that area. And notice how you receive it. As you hold the spotlight of your attention in the body and the breath. It is a continuance, a continual dance of being distracted and finding our way back to where we were. whether that's via sound, a series of thoughts, or any other thing that naturally occurs in the moment. Now, the nice thing about our attention is that we can kind of shift where the spotlight goes. We've had it on the breath and the body thus far in practice. But even the things that have been considered distractions so far can become things that we focus on. So you can stay with the breath and the body, or let your attention begin to notice kind of the stream of thoughts that have been coming and going. And it's a very subtle thing to notice a thought but not be absorbed by it, to be neutral about it instead of intertwined with it. Our mind has this capacity to take us through time, to pull us either forward in time or keep us in the past. So observe where your thoughts are or where they're taking you to. And anytime you want to be here in the moment, feel your breath, feel your body. And if left alone, the thoughts will change. You might get another thought similar to the last one, but they just change like everything else. As we practice, we tend to build up this muscle of neutrality, being able to observe ourselves without being so caught up in the story or caught up in the way something feels, and just simply kind of witness it from this perspective of things that are just happening and flowing through us rather than being us. And there's an intelligence in the fact that for this moment to occur, you have to do absolutely nothing. And if you just simply allow it to take its course, it will dissolve on its own. And each breath and each sensation that comes is a gift for that moment. And what happens when we stop fighting that moment and we allow it to be here? Attention returning to the breath, feeling the body, following the inhale through its full cycle of breath, coming in, filling up, pausing, exhaling, emptying out, pausing, and then starting again. As we begin to bring practice to a close, consider the intention I offered at the beginning of class. to allow to that we may allow ourselves to notice the reality of change with curiosity, courage, and kindness. And may we learn to flow with it rather than resist it. As we begin to close out practice, maybe start to move the hands, wiggle the toes, put a little sensory information into the body. And as you slowly begin to open the eyes and you bring back in additional visual stimulation, notice kind of the change from the formal practice to being back in our fully awakened state and having all of our sensory information available to us.